Hey, everybody, welcome to Tattooed in Business. I'm your host, Brian Merrill, and this is our show about business, life, and the eyes, or through the eyes of a Gen X male that happens to be covered in tattoos and been in the sales game for well over 20 years. So what I wanted to talk about is, uh, we all hear this, when we're in the sales profession from our friends, family, everybody. Everyone always hears about, well, I could be a salesman, and I could do that too. See that? Look at this. I could do this. I could do what you do, and then they never wind up doing it or whatnot. But that's not the part that always gets me. The part that gets me are what I call the wannabe salespeople out there, right? So, and I'm noticing a new uh, influx of these coming out, and a lot of it has to do with the way that uh, things have changed since COVID, the way we do business, the way we meet, the way we interact, everything right now. But I want to warn people to not fall into this rut. Uh, so the wannabe salesperson. So there's a difference between like that salesperson who's a rock star. Then there's, we call them the rocks out there. That they sit and wait. And this has always been an issue in sales. And we always say this. There's certain type of sales that you can sit back and wait on, but and you're going to get some business and all that. But ultimately, you're not going to be super. You're not going to be successful. Let's face it. You know what I mean? That just doesn't work. And then there's the super over aggressive, in your face type sales guy who's always bam, bam, bam in your face and always trying to sell you something. And that's a dying breed. And I think most people have realized that. Even the guys that used to sell like that have backed off. And the sales guys that have always gotten the bad rap for that are the car guys, right? So everyone's always talks about used car salesmen, and they make it as a negative like image and a negative to you. But try to understand their point of view. The minute you go off their lot, it's very tough for you to come back on their lot. So that is why they have to be a little more aggressive. And I don't meet too many car guys that are slime balls like that, but like people say, you gotta understand these guys are trying to make a living and they're not trying to screw you. Not anyone that's worth anything anyway. So I always hated that cliche with this car guys though. But back on topic is the wannabe salesperson. So the wannabe salesperson is that person who truly calls themselves a salesperson. They truly believe there's a salesperson, but they don't hunt. They don't know how to hunt. They don't try to hunt. They're waiting for something to fall in their lap. They sit there and say, well, if you gave me a list, well, if they say to you, well, if you gave me a list, then they're not worth your time. Or you need to give me leads. You need to do this. You need to pay for me to be in a networking group. And I'll cultivate sales that way. And I'm going to get them through that. Well, that's a bunch of shit. I mean, we all know that. If you've been in sales for any amount of time, I mean, real sales, if you can't bring your employer either a book of business with you when you come aboard or a hunter's mentality, then you're really not a salesperson. You're looking for an order taking job and you're waiting for them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you're not a salesperson. You're a different role. You're a different uh, you're a customer service rep, or you might be considered an account manager. And these are type of sales role. And I think that's where it comes into play. Like, so a customer service rep is going to be that person who sits there inside and the call-ins come in and they do the customer service role, follow up on orders, tracking orders, make sure the customer's happy, day-to-day business, and they might get a couple sales opportunities. That's a customer service rep. Then you have an account manager, which is a little bit different. So account manager is usually going to be hired to handle a little higher end volume customer that you have with you. Needs a little more work, has some potential to grow, and at times can cultivate a sale. You probably aren't going to leave the office very much, or at least you shouldn't be. Your job is to be basically a higher value customer service rep than just a regular customer service rep. So you're going to account manager, very similar to customer service rep, but they're going to handle a little bigger things. They'll come up with they're going to learn to dig a little bit more and look for opportunities based on conversation they have with them. And then you have your salespeople that are your hunters, and they're going to be out of the office or on the phone and Zoom calls constantly. They're always looking for new business. They're always looking for new prospects, and their job is to go into that that customers or prospects world and dig down in and investigate and find out things. So I'll give you a great example. So went on a sales meeting with somebody, and we went and toured two different locations of this customer's facility, and or excuse me, where they put their product. And this person has been working with this customer for almost a year now, very very close to it. And reality is they just sit there and they wait for them to tell them what they need. So when I go in and I walk around, like I don't know anything about the client real much other than what I've studied, what I've seen. I haven't even looked at what they've ordered, and I'm walking through the facility with them at both locations. I'm telling them this is what we can do for you. We do this shoe. Okay, we offer this service to it. And every time I would bring up something they hadn't done, I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you did that." And I'm sitting there going, "Okay, well, all right. There's your first flag." And then we uncovered lots of things that they're currently looking for or moving into months later. A salesperson is going to be looking at that customer and say, what can I take off your plate to make your job easier? Okay, so you don't got to worry about this. I can handle all this for you. I'm going to take care of that. That's what a salesperson is there for. When they're hunting and they find the customer, an account manager will typically kind of sit back. They'll learn to recognize these other places for opportunity to do business with them, and that's good. And a customer service rep won't do any of that. A customer service rep waits for that to come in. So the problem is there's a lot of people out there who have this mentality of, I'm going to wait for someone to refer me in some place, or people to just bring me business, and because I'm really good to them and I'm nice to them. And reality is you're not a salesperson, and you need to. And once you embrace that, okay, that's not what you are, then you'll probably be more successful. And not everyone's built to be this way. But what we've seen with the changing of with COVID and everything, and people do more Zoom calls, they find it easy. And that's part of the problem is you still got to get out there with a purpose. Okay. So a lot of times these wannabe salespeople, they don't want to be in the office either. They don't want you to see what they're really doing. They're afraid of CSR programs. They're afraid of any type of accountability measures. They're really looking for. I don't want to make it out like a free ride, because I'm not saying they're not hard workers or their intent isn't good, but reality is they're looking for the easy way. And the truth is, if you've been in sales for any amount of time, there's no such thing as an easy way, right? People don't just say, "Oh my God, thank God you knocked on my door today because I didn't know what I was going to do about commercial printing, and you just came in and you saved my world. Thank God you're here." No one's going to say that to me. I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to earn their trust. I'm going to have to deliver on everything I say I'm going to do, probably over deliver on what they expect. And then I'm still going to have to maintain that for a little period of time before I might really get the keys to the kingdom. And you may never get the keys to the kingdom. There's people that just like to spread it around, and that's all there is to it. And I'm going to tell you this. If you got in the door, and the reason that you were told you got in the door because you were so much cheaper than everybody else, one, you left a shit ton of money on the table, and two, you're in trouble. Because what the customer really just said to you is, and if there's somebody's cheaper, then I'm going to go with them. And you don't ever want to be in that point. Now, if you get in the door and that's the way you get in the door, you need to take it, embrace it, and change it. So what I mean by that is, so now that you're in the door and you accept that you're lower price, you need to set yourself with your value propositions and as a partner to the point where they're not going to want to leave you, or they're going to be afraid to leave you, or that money is no longer the most important part of the whole partnership, that it's a true partnership and they value you and your service as your solution provider. So we joke around at this in my office all the time, and the owner and I I call it controlled chaos. We work under controlled chaos situations, but we're solution providers. Nobody ever comes to us because they got an easy job. They want something. They come to us when there's a problem. And what I love about it, that's been my whole life. That has been my whole sales journey. Is I've never been the guy who inherited an account list or had some great customers given to them. And I'm always a guy that had to hunt, had to start from scratch, start from nothing, build my own book, and maintain it. Work, and it's always in a troubled area. It's never been, hey, hey, this territory was really good. Some guy just left, and here you go. You're going to inherit a great territory. Never had that. And you know what? Most people would sit here and be pissed off about that. I'm thankful for it because even when I've gotten lazy uh, in sales, you still wind up pulling yourself out of it and saying, hey, how did I get here? What got me here? And what was that drive? So even when I've had those times in life where maybe I did get a little complacent in sales, I've been able to pull myself out of it. And it was great because like today we had a great call, great meeting, and real pumped up afterwards. And because like for the first time in a long time, I had some little negotiation going back and a little out of practice because a lot of times um, I'm not finding people negotiate. It's like, here's the price, here's what it is, or they either take it or leave it. And that's kind of how my mentality's been. But, and this is my fault. These people probably smelt the blood that, hey, maybe he's willing to work a little bit, open up the door, but it was a great conversation, great roles, but everything had value on it. And that's what a real salesperson is going to do. They're going to fight. They're going to do this. Now, I'm not saying you got to make those decisions. You might have to bring in other people and work with you and stuff. And that's the other trait. A wannabe thinks they have this mentality or this chip on their shoulder that they don't need your help or they don't need this and they know what they're doing. A real salesperson, a real hunter is always looking for any advice that might help them, advance them, and they leave their fucking ego at the door. They walk out with these chips off their shoulders. They knock it off and they realize like, hey, I don't know everything. Somebody might know more, and they don't yes you to death. You know, so I mean that wannabe is always I know that or I got this or I know, but and then you sit there and you get to a point where you get frustrated with them. And I'm talking through a sales manager point of view is you tend to get frustrated with that because you want go-getters. You want people that are going to dominate, be rock stars, be hunters, bring something to the fucking table. I can go out and hire anybody and say, hey, here's a list, see what you can do with it, and I probably have a 50-50 shot. I'm either going to get a good salesperson that can maintain that list and maybe grow it, or I'm going to get a freaking rock that isn't going to do shit, right? 50-50 shot. Well, we don't want that anymore. I'm telling you through someone who looks for talent and stuff now. Don't want that. What I want is somebody who is going to bring me something with them. I'm coming on. I'd like to come work for you, and this is what I can do for you. And it involves bringing this person, and this person over. And they're going to put their money where their mouth is. That's what I'm looking for now, and I think that's what a lot of places are looking for. We're looking for solution providers. We're looking for that person who can get shit done. And that's what a real salesperson is going to be. The wannabe is the guy looking for where's my list, where's my gas card, where's my cell phone. Are you going to give me a laptop? Here's reality. If you can't fucking invest in yourself, then how do you expect a company to invest in you? Okay? Keep that in the back of your mind when you say you want to be a salesperson. This is the greatest job and the shittiest job in the same 10 minutes. This is the job that you're going to walk in a place and you're going to get punched in the freaking face, kicked in the gut, everything thrown at you, and it might end bad, that sales call. And then the next one, you better pick your shit up, pick yourself up, walk in there, and then all of a sudden you have that guy that, hey, I really see some value in you. I'm going to take a chance on you, or I love working with you. And then you makes your day. And the other part about being a salesperson that is phenomenal, I would thought, was if I don't like what I make today, I get to change that. And let's not bullshit each other, okay? There is no such thing as an uncapped sales position. Don't let anyone bullshit, because here's the cap. You as a human being only have so much time and so much bandwidth in your head that you can handle, all right? And there probably is a magic number out there, somewhere like probably 30 to 50 accounts, probably a human being can handle. So that's why building a sales team makes a lot of sense in business, because it opens up those parameters a little bit. And I want to have on the show, as soon as he's feeling a little bit better, a real good friend of mine who has been one of the best team builders I've ever seen. Really gets the team selling concept. Knows how to look for talent. Knows how to cultivate talent. So my buddy Kevin McLaughlin will be on the show very soon, and I also talked with a couple other places that are really good at networking, marketing, and different ideas and stuff that I plan on having another friend of mine, Tanya, on the show as well. Um, so as I'm moving into this next year and through December, you're going to see hopefully some guests and some different topics on here. But the big thing I want to point out is the wannabe salespeople. Look, there's nothing wrong with with the whole concept of you want to be in sales, but don't pretend to be something you're not. And that's real because the customer's going to see through it. And if you're not a person who wants to be a hunter, recognize that you're not a hunter and understand that there are different types of sales roles, of not being a salesperson that you may be really good at. Let me tell you something. A really good account manager with the right pay plan can be more valuable at times than a salesperson because they're the one that's retaining that customer. Same thing with a CSR. You have an awesome CSR that's really good at keeping a customer relationship. The customer may not have the ability to grow past what they're doing, but that CSR keeps them engaged and keeps them on that same level and makes everything run smoothly. You're worth. You have value. You have worth, man. These are very important roles, and eventually, a good account manager will evolve into a salesperson. And a real good CSR will evolve into an account manager. So it's kind of like an evolution of training, so to say, that you can work through with different types of sales. So I don't want somebody to look at it as salesman's top of the mountain, then the account manager. No, you're all it's a straight line, guys. It's a straight line. As that salesperson hunter, I need a great account manager to work with and a great CSR so that I can hunt. Because if I don't have these two factors in here, I don't get to hunt. And I like hunting. And that's what makes me happy. But here's the reality is I can only handle so many counts and manage to effectively service them and keep them happy. And when the salesperson realizes that, then the fucking light bulb has gone off and they realize that this is or can be a team effort to get the company to the maximum level they can be. And I get it, like most salespeople, like when we get into sales, this is the closest you could be to being in your own business without having the risk, right, of being an owner. This is the closest you can be. So you get to sleep a little better at night. There's a lot of salespeople that are great salespeople that will never move into sales management. And the reason why is because they're really, really good salespeople. And a good sales manager has a program plan mapped out where it is very possible that the salesperson can make more than you. Think about that. If your sales structure, a salesperson cannot make more than the sales manager, then you kind of got to look at that. And when I have Kevin on the show, we will definitely dive into that because that's something he's very, very good at. And just like I said, I've worked with a lot of different sales managers over the years, and Kevin's probably the best. He by far, I don't know if I've met anyone who's as good of a team builder as him. So can't wait to have him on here. And then of course, we'll talk sales automation, we'll talk outsourcing, we'll talk all these things as we bring guests on the show. So on that note, I just want to say thank you all for checking me out. Thank you all for listening. Please go to the YouTube channel, which is Tattooed in Business. Like it, subscribe, share it. Again, my email is tattooedinbusiness@gmail.com. We also have our Facebook page, again, Tattooed in Business. So please check us out. When you look for us on Podbean and the podcast, I believe you have to type in Brian Merrill, which is Merrell, Brian Merrill's Tattooed in Business, and it'll come right up. Tattooed in Business will come up, but if you type in Brian Merrill's, it usually comes up, and you'll see the logo, everything. So I want to thank everybody, and everyone have a great night, and hopefully you got something out of this. And again, don't be a wannabe. Know where you are in life. All right. Thanks, guys. Everyone have a great night.